I'm with the guest, Cameron Herold, today. He scaled 1-800-GOT-JUNK and was part of that from taking it from 2 million to over 100 million. He's a CEO and COO coach. And if you're scaling out there, make sure you DM him and add him on LinkedIn because he can help you with everything. Let's jump into some questions. We're not going to go too deep into AI. I think right now it's more of, this is more of a CEO, COO scaling podcast where AI is the catalyst. And Cameron's, your superpower is execution, systems, accountability, leadership cadence, and scaling companies from millions to hundreds of millions. So let's go way back. If you were scaling 1-800-GOT-JUNK from 2 million to 100 million today, and every employee had access to AI agents, would you do anything differently?
Ooh, yes. So it's interesting. I was on a plane back when I was the COO of 1-800-GOT-JUNK. I was flying from Vancouver to Toronto. I was sitting in business class and I watched the CEO. This was 25 years ago. So this is like, call it 2001. And the CEO was typing with his two fingers. And I literally almost lost my mind. I'm like, how could you possibly be an entrepreneur and be typing with two fingers? I mean, if I was on your board, I would fire you or get you in typing class like right away. It's kind of the same with AI today, right? In fact, even when I joined 1-800-GOT-JUNK, Brian laughed at me the first day that I got there. He's like, what do you do with that laptop? You're going to carry it from meeting to meeting? Haha. And I went, yes, I am.
Yes.
And then we had no Wi-Fi. So I made them put Wi-Fi in. 2 days later, Brian came in with a laptop from Best Buy. So yeah, I'm a big proponent of using a technology as a tool to enable people to do the work that they really want to do to make the vivid vision come true. So everyone who's showing up in my company has to learn how to leverage AI. They have to be excited about leveraging AI, or I'll find somebody who really wants to do that job and is excited about the tech. Imagine showing up today and saying, I don't want to use a laptop. I'd rather write everything by hand.
Yeah.
Right. So, but then I also want to give them the training for it, right? I want to give them the training to use the tools, to be efficient with the tools, and not just expect them to come and figure this stuff out on their own. I remember back in the day, you were working for a technology company called Velocity Computers, where we first met pre-GOT-JUNK. So you've been around technology forever. So it's for you as a digital native and as a tech person, you're more comfortable with it.
Yes.
There's a lot of people, even though they're Gen Y, that are really scared of this stuff. So I think telling them they have to use the tool is one thing, but then giving them the skills, hiring people to train them. And then lastly, what I have them do is what I call a book report. And every week, all of the members of a team have to do a 5-minute presentation, maximum 5 minutes, of something they used AI for last week and how it helped them with their job. So imagine if 8 people in marketing all share something really quickly that they did with AI. It's osmosis. It's the learning from a group. It's showing up and feeling guilty. Oh shit, I didn't do something with AI this week. But that's a lot of training. If you do that every week times 52 weeks times the 8 people in your business area, you've been exposed to 400 things that AI can do over the course of a year. You're not afraid anymore. You're excited about it.
Absolutely. I mean, by Wednesday, I have to have an app built for one of our board members. And that was just part of his tasks to me as well. I want you to build something in Codex by next Wednesday. So that's what I'm doing this afternoon. And I kind of feel a little bit because we started off 2.5, 3 years ago. So we've always built AI. I've been doing it for over 10 years. When I left Microsoft, things were completely different. Every AI project had data scientists on board, and that's obviously changed so much. And then a couple of years ago, we started building agentic AI agents. And now everything we do is multi-agents. And now we're kind of getting up to the platform level. And then, or some people are calling it an AI OS, right? And, with the way I'm approaching this, though, I use it consistently all day long, but I'm not building the apps. And our board wants me to actually just spend some time every week just building, even if it's just an app that helps you with a spreadsheet, something super simple, but that relieves some of the fear of, hey, maybe I'm not capable of going and maybe I'm not a developer. And once I start doing it, I'm like, this is super easy actually. And why did I have that fear of resistance from trying it? So, but talking, my first talk track here, you mentioned this before. AI doesn't fix broken companies. Does AI simplify strengths, or does he expose the weaknesses of a CEO or COO? What are your thoughts around?
It does both, and it also does both not just around the CEO, but also around their leadership team and their frontline employees. Let me explain. The biggest reason why companies are laying people off right now is not because AI is doing their job for them. The reality is most of the people laid off weren't doing 40 hours worth of work in a 40-hour work week. When
Exactly.
people started to examine all the workload that they had, it's like, oh, you're doing 8 hours of work and we're paying you 40. We don't need that. So they're starting, and the only reason they know how little work people are doing is they were looking to try to automate some of the work. So looking to try to automate some of the work is kind of like lifting up the covers and going, oh my God, all your dirty clothes are underneath the duvet. You
Hmm.
haven't cleaned your
Hmm.
room at all.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that's what employees need to be careful of is, remembering that you're going to get found out if you're not putting in a solid week's work for a solid week's pay. That's who's going to get replaced with AI. I don't see the writing on the wall or any data yet that shows that there's been a lot of layoffs in too many business areas, maybe with the exception of like some frontline coders not being hired, but I'm not seeing people being replaced by AI yet as much as the narrative was 18 months ago.
I
Not
100%
saying it's
agree
not
with
gonna
you.
happen, but I'm not saying it's not gonna happen, I just don't see it currently.
I 100% agree with you. We're seeing new job creations coming up, like with more different goals that we would have had them do 2 years ago doing today. And I do see the big companies that might have like 10, 20, 30,000 employees reducing that headcount. But then I see all these other startup companies that will have the job. So I don't see job loss in the future, like
Totally.
what the media fears, right? So, another question is
Well, and
why do,
even if it does come, it's certainly not here this year, get back to work,
yeah,
right? It's not here right
exactly.
now, stop worrying and get back to work. And I think there's enough opportunity for the people that are excited, are bought into a company, they do believe in their CEO's vision,
Mhm.
to just find some ways to leverage yourself and leverage AI, and you become massively indispensable. You're not at risk of being laid off.
Yeah, the thing that does concern me around the CEO's role is because, I'm constantly calling customers, meeting with them. And if I get a talk track with the CEO, he's like, this is unbelievable. We have to do something. Then he'll introduce me to the CFO or COO or the CIO. And then it goes downstream. Hey, I used to have a manager of IT. Now he's manager of an AI. That was traditionally the same way we would have worked back in the 90s. And that's not how I see it has to work today. Every successful project we've delivered has had the CEO engaged on a regular basis. He's not talking to me on a daily basis, but weekly he wants an update. Weekly he wants to know what's going on. And I'm not seeing companies that just push it down to a manager of AI getting the success or urgency or speed to market that the ones when the CEO or the COO is involved in our projects. So it kind of segues into why do great companies get more value from AI than dysfunctional companies? Like what is going on there? And are you seeing that as well?
You're saying which group are getting more leverage?
Yeah, like so we're seeing great companies get more value from AI. And I believe it's because the CEO is really driving this rather than
Yeah,
just
I think it's a
passing it down.
culture. It's a culture thing, right? Like it's like,
Mhm.
any great companies, driven companies, best companies to work for, like any of those awards really show that those are companies maybe in the far right-hand side of the bell curve, right? They're in the top 10%. Average is horribly average, right? There's 1.5 million companies in the United States. There's 150,000. No, what is it? Hang on. There's 1.5 million companies in Canada, 15 million in the US. So in Canada alone, there's 750 below average companies. So when you talk to a group of 100 entrepreneurs, 50 of them are below average.
Right,
You know,
right.
so it's the ones that are best places to work, that do care about their people, that do care about culture, where the entrepreneur is involved in some mastermind or growth, where people are recognizing, wow, it's not about telling my employees what to do. It's about flipping the org chart upside down and supporting them and empowering them and helping to educate them and calm them down. And I think some of the best companies are letting employees know there's nothing to fear here, right? Fear is just false evidence appearing real. Let's get back to work. Let's crush this. And not just go build some apps. Hey, why don't we get you 3 mentors to help you go build your first 3 apps? Like, let's do
Yes.
both, right? Let's give them the confidence and the connections and the skill development to then really be excited about leveraging AI. And then to your
Yeah.
point, if the CEO is not engaged, if the leadership team doesn't really listen to the CEO, if that's not like a first team, then of course somebody's going to roll something out. There's going to be finger pointing. And, right now there's something called, there's token burning happening. In some business areas, don't want to get their budget cut, so they burn through all of their tokens. That's a really dangerous, political, horrible environment to
Yeah.
work in, right? But
Yeah.
that usually is because they don't get along with the CEO, or they're not aligned with core values or culture.
Totally. Totally. It's interesting. I've been speaking at a number of construction trade shows and conventions. And what I'm also seeing is like, you think plumbers, like, they say plumbers are going to be the last to be affected by AI, but I'm going to tell you something. I'm already seeing it. The younger plumbers straight out of school are interviewing the companies now. And they're
Mhm.
interviewing the companies to see what the CEO and the CEO, CFO is doing to invest in the latest AI.
And you know
That's a,
why? It's not because the person doing the plumbing is going to get replaced, but they're worried their business won't be in business if the business isn't efficient.
yeah,
Right? Nobody wants to work for an average company anymore.
yeah,
Because of social media, the blue collar construction worker wants to work for a good construction company. The blue collar, teacher wants to work for a good school. The blue collar nurse wants to go work for a good hospital. And they're starting to recognize that not all stuff is below average. So
right.
yeah, if you're below average, you're kind of going to zero, right?
Yes.
There's an old saying that I saw back when you and I met 30 years ago, that if the rate of change outside your business is greater than the rate of change inside your business, you're out of business.
Yeah. That's a
It's
great
adapt or
quote.
die.
Yeah.
And by the
Yeah.
way, I think actual plumbers will be out of jobs soon too. Not soon right away, but did you see the mixed martial arts fight the other day of the
I
two
did.
robots fighting?
I did.
Dude, like if they can do that, they can do plumbing pretty soon
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
right? They're already
That's
doing
fun.
heart surgery.
Yeah. I watched the last 3 years that robotic show. And even 3 years ago, where they were kind of just doing this to like, oh, now they're doing backflips and doing, I mean, that's just in 3 years. Before the show, Cameron and I were talking, the rate of change now is so much more. Like in 98, we might have been saying, hey, do an e-commerce site. It cost $3-4 million. It took 2 or 3 years.
Right.
We can do something in 3 sprints in 6 weeks now. That's unbelievable, right? So
You could knock out a great website overnight tonight using AI and have it ready in the morning, and it would be way better than anything we developed in the late 90s. We
yeah,
have a speaker coming into our COO Alliance this month. I run a mastermind called the COO Alliance, where I have only second in commands of really great brands from around the world. We've got Salim Ismail is our speaker this
yeah,
month. He's from Singularity University and on the board of the X Prize, and he
yep,
just wrote a book called Exponential Organizations too, talking about how companies now, the good ones, the top 5 percenters, are starting to evolve in such a way that they're actually moving past evolution to planning for like an AI evolution. They're
yes,
planning to do things so differently than stuff was ever done before. People have AI agents sitting on their board of advisors now, showing up at
yeah,
every board meeting,
yeah,
showing up at every leadership team meeting. Like,
yeah.
right?
I follow that guy. He is unbelievable. He is so dialed in. I encourage everyone to think on what he's saying the future is, because I literally see, I was with the president of M&A at KPMG a month ago. And when I was saying to him, I'm like, you're going to see 10, 20, 30, 40 employee financial institutions being able to compete with you. And you guys are
Yeah.
huge. And so you guys better do something. And I'm seeing it more and more. A lot of these C-level people are saying, well, I'm going to retire in a couple of years. I want to get out of here before I have to change. And that's not a good thing to say when you're departing from your organization, right? But
I have started to only hear that now in the last 12 months, and I've heard it a lot more than I had heard it ever before in my life, of people that are now going, you know what? The rate of change is too quick for me. Peace out. It's time to retire. I'm going to retire early. By the way, I just dropped the link to Salim Ismail's book in the chat if you want to share it when we record. But Exponential Organizations 2.0, the new playbooks for 10xing your growth and impact, but it's leveraging AI. It's leveraging
mhm,
tech. We're
yeah,
in the singularity. We're right in the middle of it.
yeah. That's awesome. So let's, and I will share that for sure. But let's talk about the COO role in an agent workforce. If every employee has AI assistance, what becomes the COO's job in the future? Will COOs manage people, agents, or both? And I think you just said that they're managing both right now.
They're
But
managing
what do
they're
you think?
managing both. They're managing both, but they're also managing something else. The COO 30 years ago had to be one of the smartest people at the table.
Hmm. Okay.
Now the COO has to be connected to the smart people. The COO has to know the other smart people. It's the who, not how issue, right? The COO has to know who to reach out to that can do these things. They have to be
Mm,
able to manage agents, manage freelancers, find partners that they can plug in across the organization that can do things and deploy things. Because now it's going to be things like momentum is yours, momentum and speed is your friend, minimum viable everything, getting it done and out the door. But the COO used to be the one who was the thought, strategy, planning, operations kind of in it.
yeah.
They have to speed up now.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have to think ahead of that curve now. And they
Yeah.
have to be the one who's thinking about, what AI solutions could we use to do this for us?
Yeah.
30 years ago, you had to know what the solution was. Now they
Yeah.
just have to go, I wonder if there's an AI solution that could do this. Like about a year ago, last October, I was sitting in an event. I was in the sauna talking to a group of entrepreneurs, and I said, I need to hire a cold caller. And the guy said, no, you don't. I'm like, no, I do. I've got a really good closer and I've got a really good marketing team and good sale. Like everything's clicking, but I don't have an appointment setter. I need a cold caller to cold call all of our leads. He goes, no, you don't. I'm like, dude, all right, Yoda, what do I need? If I don't need a cold caller, he goes, you need an AI agent that can make cold calls. And I'm like, is there one that can do that? This was last October. He demoed it for me that day. He's doing 1.8 million in revenue a month with no employees, selling hyperbaric chambers, using AI agents to do marketing, sales, fulfillment, customer engagement. It's all AI agents. So what I learned
Wow.
from that is I don't have to know how to do something. I have to be able to ask the questions to Claude, to Gemini, to, can you teach me how to do? What are the questions that I need to think about to be able to do this? My
Yeah.
board just told me to build an app. I don't even know where to go to do that. Can you walk me through that? Or I have to know that I know 3 people that I can reach out to who are really, really strong in that space that can do it for me or can give me the shortcuts.
Yeah. That's amazing. We use agents AI to scrape LinkedIn to do posting and stuff like that. And I recently just said a couple weeks ago, look, we need to get a good appointment setter. And the same thing my CTO said. No, we don't. We need to just build that. We need to mimic you calling your customers and have our agents take that on. So we're embarking in that ourselves right now. So
Yeah. And like I remember back in the day, 30 years ago, if we had a tech problem, there was Sean Shoot. If we had a tech problem at your
Sean
company,
shoot, yeah,
Brian would say, let's call Sean Shoot or let's call Steve Gillings. Let's call one of the guys at Velocity. They'll be able to answer any of our tech questions because you guys were running a tech company. Nobody was running a tech company in 98, right? But so
yeah,
you
yeah. Yeah, it
nowadays,
was interesting. We used to.
nowadays the
I think we had
COO,
a gentleman that would. Yeah. Mhm. Oh, go ahead.
go ahead.
I said, I think we used to have a tech show up every Monday or something at 1-800-JUNK, and it's changed. I mean, I ask everything, whether it's for business or even just how to fix my camper van. I'm using AI for everything now, and it's even all my law questions. But how do you create accountability when part of the work is done by AI here now? Like what metrics should an executive track today?
Um, accuracy,
Yeah,
ROI, like the return. Like I just talked to my team today. I said, I don't want any more 10-page slide decks.
yeah.
You used to give me 7 metrics. Now I'm getting a 10-page PDF. I don't need a 10-page PDF. If you want
Hmm.
AI to create some beautiful little diagram, give it to me in one page, or you're not thinking clearly. So
Yeah,
I don't want to spend more time to get less result or more time to get the same result.
yeah,
But right now, if you're an executive and you're delegating work to a freelancer or to a junior employee, you're checking their work. You can get AI to check AI's work,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
You can take the work, you can get the work that's done and drop it into a couple of other AI agents and say, hey, can you look at this and tell me what's wrong, what's missing, you know, what's factually incorrect?
Well, Cameron, you said it a little bit ago. And I think what you said, the next great COO won't manage departments. It was hierarchy. Back in the 90s, it was hierarchy, right? And now they're managing systems and humans. And I'm talking to customers like that. Look at your AI operating system in the middle, delivering all of those functions. So the typical hierarchy I see will be kind of vanishing. And so,
I
that makes
agree.
segue into the next one. Yeah. And so our
And by
CEOs,
you know
are
what's
they
really
becoming
interesting around that,
what?
Chris, what's really interesting is
What?
our children learned how to actually do business in the next phase of business from playing Minecraft, from playing multi-person video games, because they were problem solving together. They were doing stuff asynchronously. They're like, hey, you do
Right.
that, you kill this guy, you win that guy. They were so used to working quickly, thinking
Oh,
quickly,
yeah.
collaborating and working together as a team for that common mission. That's more what's going to happen inside of companies is you're going to be connecting agents to do the stuff. Like it's going to be about who can most effectively work with others to create the things to drive those goals to make the vivid vision come true. It's
Right.
just going to get easier because we're going to get out of the way of having to CC and blind CC and explain to people and deal with somebody's vacation time. It's like none of that's going to
Mm.
exist anymore. It's going to be
Yeah.
really smart people using tools to make the goals happen.
I never thought of the Minecraft description, but that nails it as well. You often talk about founders becoming growth bottlenecks. So is AI going to make these founders bottlenecks better or worse? Do you think?
Again, it's probably both, right? Like what one of the detriments of a founding entrepreneur and their strength is they have a million ideas. It's like Jeff Bezos said that I could kill Amazon because I have too many ideas coming too quickly. I need to slow my ideas
Uh,
down, right? Because you're coming from so AI can be that way, right? We can
mhm,
get very excited and and I've seen a lot of entrepreneurial companies get very distracted. About eight months ago, remember when everybody was buying all the Mac Minis and Claude Code and blah blah blah?
mhm, mhm.
Now nobody's talking about that anymore. There's a
Nope.
lot of entrepreneurs can get attracted to the big shiny object and the new idea, and they forget about the bread and butter part of the business. They forget about the 20% of what we do drives 80% of our results. We don't need to be busier and more frenetic. So I think it'll
Yeah,
hurt them in that way.
I do. We see Cloud Code all the time. Well, we can just do that on Cloud Code. So at Sasbury, we built enterprise systems. Are these platforms or the operating systems? I know operating system confuses a lot of us, but that's kind of the buzzwords out there. Your big talk track is vivid vision, right? And if a company was writing a vivid vision today, what AI elements should be included in that?
One would be, I think, really remembering that AI is a tool
Yes.
and we have to teach our people how to use the tools,
Hmm.
right? A shovel is a tool. But if
Hmm.
somebody picks up a shovel and they have no idea what it is, maybe they think it's a hammer. And all of a
Right.
sudden they're hammering stuff with it. They're going, wow, this is a great hammer. But nobody realized it was supposed to dig a hole.
Right.
So we need to teach people those tools and how to use the tools. Secondly, we need to remember that we need to work with them on their fears and their insecurities. We need to meet them where they are,
Yeah.
right? If you think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the base layer is like food and shelter. It's like having enough money to pay our bills. So that's good. But
Yeah.
if they're worried about a job, the second layer of Maslow's hierarchy is safety and security. If they're
Yeah.
worried about losing their job because of AI, they're not going to be as productive. You can give them AI systems and AI tools all day long, but if they feel nervous and scared, they're not going to be productive. So your job is
Yeah.
to make them not feel nervous, to make them not feel scared, to give them the training to use the tools, to give them the confidence that they're not going to get replaced. I think that's where most companies are missing in terms of like what could be in a vivid vision around AI.
Yeah. I agree with you on that. I consistently, when I'm speaking, is saying to the founder or to the entrepreneur that embrace it, make it fun, talk about it to everybody, make sure that they all know that, hey, we're not trying to take your jobs. We're trying to make your jobs more strategic and do the fun things you want to do rather than the mundane things you didn't want to do. Right. So if I gave you 90 days as a COO of, say, a $50 million company, how would you prepare that for today, especially around these new AI tools that have coming out?
I guess one, I would take a look at which areas of the business are the biggest gears that if I work on this one thing, like it'll have more of a flywheel effect. That would be one area I
Hmm.
would look for. Any things that I can automate or optimize with AI that can become a flywheel. Um,
Hmm.
Number two is I would look at anything inside of the business that will drive revenue or drive more gross
Right.
margin.
Yeah.
Because if I can do that, then I can buy my way out of any problem later. Often tech gets all excited about building the coolest new thing and putting the ERPs in place and the stuff that is the big, hairy, but it's the real fun engineering challenge. I don't need the big fun engineering challenge. What I need is more revenue, more gross margin,
Hmm.
and a couple of things driving some flywheel so that my people
Hmm.
are happier, my customers are happy, I'm making more profit. I'd start there.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. We have a chart that we put in front of our customers, and it's top line or bottom line. What are we trying to do here? And we need to have, honestly, Cameron, if it doesn't show an ROI in 6 months, let's park that for a while and look at it. There's too many low hanging, super simple projects we can do with a quick ROI, and that's
Yeah,
kind of
like
where.
so I always look at any potential project or goal that we're setting for the company. So whatever the project is, and I said, is it going to make my people happier? Is it going to make
Yeah.
my customers happier? Will it
Hmm.
drive more profit and will it drive more revenue? But in that order. I actually will do projects that will make my employees happier versus anything else. Because if my employees are really happy, they're going to take care of my customers. I can charge whatever I want. Business gets easier and I just make more money.
Yeah.
But if I focus on revenue, they feel burned out. If I focus on the customer, they feel underappreciated. But when I focus on how happy are my people, everything gets simple.
Yeah, it's Asbury's starting to get some growth here, and we're looking at. We've been in talks with a few second in command COOs, and my question to my CTO and even some of the people we've been talking with, in 5 years, will the most valuable second in command be a COO, or is it going to be an AI orchestrator? Where do you see the role of a COO? You'd said that it's more of not being the smartest in the room; it's more of managing on who the smartest are, right? What other things do you think for someone like me that's looking at investing in a COO, which is a partnership, a long-term partnership for me, right? So where do you think I should
I don't
approach that?
I don't know. I
Oh,
don't have a
yeah,
crystal ball on this one. I think
yeah,
it I think I think it is people that are really aligned with core values, people that are prepared to really work hard and be fun people to work with and really know the tech tools are going to do great in careers for a long
yeah,
time. And they're going to
yeah,
adapt and they'll come up with new skills. I don't know what your title will be. Maybe your title might be completely different. But I can tell
yeah,
you for sure if you're a great person who's fun to hang with and who works really, really hard and you live core values and you leverage tools like AI, people are going to be banging on your door to hire you. So I would just be
yeah.
those people. I would worry.
It's
I'd be more worried if I was the 95% that are not going to be those people, right?
Yeah. It's interesting. In my last company meeting, I went around like, "What do you want? What do you want?" And the theme was, "We all just want to build cool shit." That's what they said to me, and I'm like, "Let's do." So when you say having fun, we need to be having fun. We want to be building this stuff. That's all cool. And we're finding a lot of the developers that have been with us over the last 8, 9 years that aren't anymore are coming back saying, "Hey, we want to come back and work for you because you guys are just building the new cool stuff. And I got a job where I'm now
Yeah,
maintaining a legacy app. And I'm,
yeah,
I'm,
and
I'm
that's
scared my skills are going away and I want to come back." Right.
that
So,
that's always been the case too. Fun people want to work with fun people. Good people want to work with good people. Great people want to work with great companies. I would focus on being in that cohort, and you're going to be just fine. Like
yeah,
I'm not.
yeah,
I'm less worried about where the post office employee is going to get a job when like I don't care.
yeah.
I've never cared about or they're just not my tribe.
Well, if you were 25 years old today with everything you know about scaling companies, what would you learn about AI? Where would your focus around AI be over the next 12 months?
I would probably be doing one YouTube video a day on
Mm,
some AI tool just to continue to immerse myself in it. And I would
yeah,
try to get mentored by some people that are 60 around leadership and entrepreneurship and managing people and interviewing and hiring and
that's
running
great.
meetings
That's
and
really good
projects.
feedback.
So I would, if I could get mentored by a bunch of 60-year-olds, but I could teach them AI tools while they teach me about the rest of the business world, I think you'd be set for life.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited about the future and things, with what I am still seeing though, Cameron, people that there's, probably once a week someone will say, "Oh, my my coworker doesn't really believe in AI." And I'm kind of shocked with that. I think the media has blown it out of control with everything out there where it's just like you said, a tool. These are just new tools that we should be using, right? So
Yeah, but
what
that doesn't sell advertising, and that doesn't help unions, and it doesn't help, the fear mongering that so I'm not seeing a whole rash of layoff. They'll come in some areas. Like, I wouldn't want to be the driver of a car, like a taxi driver, a limo driver 5 years from now. Um,
yeah,
but there's also jobs that used to exist. I mean, I just did a post today about it. I got to read you some of these crazy jobs that existed that not only do they not exist anymore, we're like, what the heck was that job? Like, it's just some of the weirdest jobs that like were ever even jobs before. Oh, I may not have
yeah,
it. It was like it was just these bizarre roles that people played. I wish I could find
yeah,
it. Like there was
yeah.
an airplane listener. Like you had these cones and you would stand out and listen for airplanes, and then there were like,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
yeah, like an ice makers that literally would take ice off of a river and then
Yeah.
take it like, yeah, those jobs are gone, but there's new jobs that have come around.
My great grandfather, my dad had me at a later age, and then so my great grandfather's from the mid 1800s, and he literally just lit and put out the gas lanterns, lights along the road in London back in the day, right? Imagine that. And you know what, Cameron? Even going back to the
Yeah,
90s,
lamplighters.
yeah, I used to sell tape libraries. I think you guys even had one at one point. And we would do a service where someone would just pull the tape out, put the new tape in, take it to Iron Mountain every night. And that's funny that that
That's
would even
yeah, we by the way, we almost bankrupted the company because I asked Brian every day for about 60 days, do we have a successful tape backup? And he kept getting mad at me because I didn't know how to explain what I wanted. But I was like, just prove to me that we can do a recovery.
yeah.
Turns out, turns out that Brian deleted the root folder of our server, and all that we kept was any documents that anybody in the company had open on their computers that day.
Mhm.
Everything else was gone except IT was on a different server and finance was on a different server. But all of operations, my entire manual that I just spent 3 months writing was deleted.
Oh my gosh, that
Yeah,
must have been a tough week. That must have been
because
a
the
tough
tape
week.
backup at Iron Mountain wasn't working. Crazy.
Now is a bigger time than ever that a group gets together to talk about this new AI era because there is a change coming. There is a change coming. And I think your group can really allow people to get maybe a running start above their competitors. People, if they're out there not doing something right now, your competitors are, and they're going to get you. So that this isn't fear, this is facts. But if you could give one advice to a CEO or COO today about this new era, what would you tell them today?
It's a part A and part B. Part A is that none of this stuff matters. We're all going to die, and let's enjoy the journey and enjoy, our time together because the death rate is the only metric that's still at 100%.
That's true.
And I think we lose sight of that at times. That this is a pretty special journey we're on, and let's enjoy that journey. And then part two of that is our number one role as a leader is to take care of our people. It's to really care about them, to care about their fears, their insecurities, their
Yeah,
worries, their home life, their relationships, their
yeah,
struggles, what they're going through on the day to day on this journey of their life. If we really care about them more than anybody else does, they're going to care about our company more than anyone ever has. So it's just caring about them as people that pays
yeah.
off so much more than anything other of way of managing people ever will.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I follow you on Instagram. I love it's something that I'm liking on a regular basis, and I think you're also saying, at the end of the day, with AI, get out of the office, go and connect with Mother Nature. I saw you were golfing in a number of countries. That looks so exciting. But I'm telling everybody, my CTO plays tennis in the middle of every day, and I think if he didn't do that tennis game, I don't think he could manage all the projects that he's delivering right now. Right? So
We have to balance, we have to disconnect, we have to think clearly, but also just take care of our people too. Like just really enjoy that journey and take care of our people.
yeah. Everyone, this was Cameron Herold, best-selling author, definitely an influence on me and quite famous actually, Cameron, around the Vancouver market. And I really appreciate you taking the time to out of your busy schedule to meet with us today. And look forward to seeing all the new things that COO Alliance brings to the market. And hopefully my COO will be in that group in the near future as well.
I'd love to have them. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate the time. Great seeing you again.